his question is basically just telling us that the real question is in the passage, right? We have to illustrate the claim. Well, we need to know what the claim is. So let's see. This poem is a play by Tagore, originally written in Bengali. The character Amal is a young boy who imagines that the people he sees passing the window of his home are carefree, even when engaged in work or chores, as is evident when he says to the daughter of a flower seller. So, okay, focus on adjectives here. A young boy who imagines that the people he sees passing the window of his home are carefree, even when engaged in work or chores. So they're doing work. So think of it this way. There's a bunch of boxes that we need to check off, right? Box 1, he needs to imagine this thing about the people. He needs to see people. So these, I'm getting really, really specific, but here are the big ones, right? The people are carefree in some way, and the people are doing chores, right? So there's a bunch of boxes. This is how I think about a question like this. It's not just one idea, it's a few. So the choice that checks off the most boxes is probably going to be right. So choice A, I see you don't wish to stop. I don't care to stay on here either. That does not seem to make anything. He's saying to the daughter of a flower seller, I see you don't wish to stop. Maybe because she's carefree. This is a stretch. I don't really have anything. I don't think any boxes get checked off by this choice. B, oh flower gathering, that is why your feet seem so glad and your anklets jingle so merrily as you walk. Okay, well, glad and merrily seems to maybe check off this idea of carefree, so maybe let's put choice B as checking this off. Is she doing a chore? Well, flower gathering, I guess, could be a chore. He seems to be talking to someone, so I don't know, maybe this is right. Let's look at C. I'll pay when I grow up before I leave to look for work out on the other side of that stream there. Well, nothing there talks about being carefree. It's paying for something. It's also not about other people, right? So there's a big one that's missing, right? He has to see other people, but I don't see that here, right? He's talking about himself, so that doesn't seem to work. D, wish I could be out too, then I would pick some flowers for you from the very topmost branches right out of sight. Well, maybe picking flowers is doing chores, but I don't see anything about being carefree. Yeah, picking from the top branches doesn't mean it's carefree. It doesn't mean anything to me. So look, maybe you see a bunch of things here, or you see other things in these wrong answers that like maybe check a box, but it's really just about how many boxes get checked. Well, B is definitely saying through glad and merrily that people are carefree, so check. And then people are doing chores. Well, flower gathering could be a chore, check. Does he seeing people do them? Well, he's talking to this girl, so seems that way. And is he imagining that they're carefree? There, maybe I'm making a little bit of a guess, right? I mean, it doesn't actually say, the girl does not say that she's carefree, so maybe it is just in his head. I don't have evidence of that. But look, if I've checked 3 of the 4 boxes, that's a pretty good sign, especially if nothing else comes close. So this is definitely a way I think about these questions that have like a bunch of components, a bunch of adjectives, try to break them apart. I wouldn't write these checkboxes like this on my scrap paper, but you could, especially if you're trying to get better at this. Write them down first, give yourself a checklist. That way you can kind of compare without having to hold all these ideas in your head. But they are all listed in the passage. So you can highlight them there as well. So you have a couple of ways to check and make sure you're checking the right boxes off.